So, hi guys, it's good to be back again. So, this is the second episode of Building Model Data Stack. So, as I said in my previous video, my name is Abiodun Sani once again. Um, I've updated the architecture for the modern data stack based on what I mentioned in the first episode. So, you can see the business intelligence layer here, which is Preset Cloud. Preset Cloud is a managed Apache superset. So Vice Versa is an open source business intelligence tool, but because it's open source, there are a lot of configuration, setup, and stuff like that. So Preset is now a managed Apache superset. So in that sense, you don't have to be managing Apache supersets, doing update and stuff like that. Preset is going to do that on behalf of you, right? So and you can sign up for free. However, if you want to extend it to your organization where you have a lot of users, you have to pay some certain amount. I think it's about $20 per developer seat, right? But for the free version, it can take up to 5 developer seats. So we're going to be using that. That will suffice for this particular uh, use case and series. So I also added, I removed BigQuery for the data warehouse. Replaced that with Snowflake. So here we have Snowflake instead of BigQuery. And I also added GitHub pages, which is, I mentioned that in the previous episode, which is going to host our DBT documentation. And also added GitHub actions for CI/CD. So those are the updates from the previous video. I think you should have seen that as like a thumbnail for the video. So this is what we have. So what are we going to be doing today? Literally, we're going to be setting up our local environment for two technology stack. That will be uh, DBT and good expectations. So DBT and good expectation, we're going to set up on our local. That will be for development purpose, right? And I will also run us through setting up preset cloud account. So it's pretty easy, you can do that on your own, but let's quickly run through uh, setting up DBT and good expectation on a local. So let's get into that. Okay, so quickly, before now you should have set up your Python environment, uh, just as mentioned in the previous episode. So if you have your Python, if you do Python version, you should have your Python environment set up. So which is good. Now we are going to create a virtual environment. So we are going to be using a virtual environment for our setup. We we want to create an environment that is different from our normal Python local environment. This is to avoid dependency issues, right? So for the essence of this uh, proof of concept, this series, we want to create a virtual environment. That is where all our installations will go into. So it does not conflict with any kind of environment that we are using. So in order to do that, definitely uh, pip is the command that is being used to install libraries and stuffs in Python. So to ensure you have pip installed and do pip dash version. Ideally, if you get installed together by your by installing Python, pip should also be installed together with it. So you can see now if you do a pip list will show us the existing library that we have. So this is only the library that we have from this Python environment. So we want to create a virtual environment. We need a library called virtual env. So let's try and install that. So pip install virtual env. I think it is correct. So let's see. If all things good, this should start installing. So collecting virtual environment. So starting to install. So it's gonna wait for like few minutes based on the speed of your internet. So this should get installed very soon. So installing blah 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 is done. So this is good. If you get this warning of a thing, you can just open your environment variables and add this path that is being highlighted, include it in your path. Just do that, but you can just ignore for now, right? So since that is done, if you do it quickly, we should see that library now. You can see that virtual env library, which is good. All right, so now let's create our virtual environment. Now I want to suggest we do this on C drive. If you're a Mac user, you can just do it on the default path that you are at the moment, right? So you can just do it on the default path that you are. I think on a Mac user, you see like a C users and the name of the user just similar to this pattern, right? But the terminal for Mac users are kind of different. So just follow through. Uh, for Mac users, you don't have to do this command. So for Windows, just let's see this with C drive. So I want to do uh, this creating a virtual environment on my C drive instead. So see this C colon slash like this. Then we're on the C drive, as you can see here, C drive. So let's get the virtual environment. So in order to do that, we do Python slash -m. If I Mac user, you do Python 3 instead. Python 3 -m, then venv, then followed by the name of the virtual environment you want to create. So let's call it MDS underscore env. So you're creating a virtual environment called MDS underscore env. So let's enter. So let's see. So for Mac user, just similar command should work at your end. So once this is done, it will exit. So it has exited. So ideally, you should create a new folder called MDS underscore env in this under the C drive. So if we now do cd MDS underscore env, it should be in that folder. You can see that we're inside that folder now. Now we now need to activate that virtual environment. In order to do that, we can then do if you're a Windows user, this is what you're going to type. Or let's start with the Mac user. If you're a Mac user, type the source bin slash activate. Once you are inside this directory, so if you do this, it's going to activate your virtual environment. But if you're a Windows user like me, just type the script flash this way and activate. Enter. Then when you do this, you can see that there is like a MDS underscore env inside a bracket like this. So it means it has activated the virtual environment. So we are inside the virtual environment and it has been activated. So we can use it. So if I do a quick list now, because this is different from my local environment, the libraries that you can see that we only have this library because we are in another environment that is different from our local. Our local environment has all of this, but now we're in a virtual environment, which is like a separate environment which has this only this library. So having that now, we want to set up DB and create a position just as we said. So what do we need? What do we need? Remember, we are going to be working with Snowflake. So because our DBT is going to be working directly on our data warehouse, which is Snowflake, what we're going to do is install DBT hyphen Snowflake. This will install DBT core, which is essential DBT CLI that is being used on local. That is what actually runs DBT. Then it will now install DBT Snowflake, which is the adapter that is now be used to connect to your data warehouse with Snowflake. So it installs it in DBT core and DBT Snowflake adapter. Yeah. So also after that is done, let's let's install that first. So let's see, it's going to start installation. You can see blah 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 dbt slope. You can see dbt core here, right? So and also it will install dbt snowflake. After we've done that, we are going to install dbt postgres. And the reason we are doing that is it's not really necessary because we are not connecting to postgres, we are connecting to snowflake. But if for one reason you are using postgres as a data warehouse, you can do dbt postgres. But since we are using snowflake, you don't have to do that. Now, once this is done, we should be able to run the command dbt version. So we can see the version of dbt we are running on, which is most likely going to be the latest version. So let's wait for this to get done. All right, so since this is done, let's run dbt version and see the version of dbt we are running and the adapter that we installed with it, which is dbt snowflake. Let's see. So after this, we're gonna go ahead and install dbt, good expectations, which is going to be used for quality checks. All right, you can see we have dbt core, we have the latest version, and snowflake plugin, which is also the latest version up to date, which is good. Now let's now install great expectations. So we keep install great underscore expectations. Whew, enter. So this should also get this installed already. All right, so since good expectation is installed, I think you can do good expectations dash dash version, and voila, should give you a version of good expectation as running. So installing of this library is kind of also install some dependencies, right? And I think one of the dependencies that was installed with good expectation is Jupyter Notebook, which is going to be useful in making edits to your notebook, to your good expectation checkpoints and developing your data source and stuff like that. So it's going to be useful in having to develop your data quality checks using good expectations. So which is interesting. So now since that is done, I think the next step is to set up a preset account. I'm going to share that with you guys real quick. So we are gonna use this preset page, landing page. So we're gonna say try for free and say get started for free. Work email. All right, you just put in your Gmail address, or for faster registration, I think I just sign up with Google, and then you might want to set a Google account, set my Google account, and just continue, and voila, it should bring you up to this page. I'm going to put my details, my first name and my last name. What is your goal with preset? For personal project or for educational purpose, I think that works. So sign me up for future announcement or something like just that's not really necessary. I agree to the terms and conditions and just create my account. And let's see. So we'll be here. What is your role? Data engineer, whatever it is, data consultant. That's really fine. What's your department? Engineering. Continue. Tell us about why you're here. Internal BI for my company. A run data consultancy with presets. Maybe this is just formalities and stuff like that. Right, set up your first team workspace. So I'm gonna give you the workspace, say uh Orbit Learning. So Orbit Learning Community. So name of my team, then workspace, let me call it Orbit Space. And if anybody else wants to invite, you can do that here, you can do that later. I'm able to connect to Teams database today. I'm going to select no for now so that we will do the setup later. By the time we will set up our data warehouse, which is Snowflake. So I have mine set up already. I just walk you guys through that at a later time. So continue and workspace setup. You're all set. We're giving you preset professional free for 14 days. Get started. So and get started. All is just formality. You are going to be using uh the free tier, the free tier of preset actually. So welcome to preset workspace, blah 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 blah. Let's just ignore this. Ignore this. So now these are the ideal steps. Create your workspace, which you've done. Connect your data. It's connecting our data warehouse. Then start building your dashboards, right? Start with your charts. Then after I fill your charts, then you build the dashboard. Then invite teammates to collaborate on your dashboard and share and stuff like that, right? Then in between creating charts, you can develop data sets. You can use SQL Lab to query directly your data warehouse, stuff like that. It's quite interesting. So you go to connect data, for instance, now you there are a lot of data connectors of Google BigQuery, Postgres, Snowflake, of which you will be using. You can connect to Databricks, MySQL, Google Sheets, and you can come here, click on to see some other databases. This is just like the few the top databases here, but there are a lot more. You can just come here and say choose database and just search for it. So you can find Redshift, for instance, Azure, TNAP, right? Oracle, I don't know, yes, so Oracle, you can see Oracle there, a lot more, right? So after you set up your connection to your database, then you can start creating your charts and build the dashboard. So I think I'm gonna end the episode here. So in the next episode, we're gonna focus on setting up other key components. We're gonna start with setting up Airbytes, uh, which is gonna be used for abstraction and loading. We are gonna set up Airflow. We're gonna set up Airbyte and Airflow, which is going to be running on Docker. And in between, we're going to set up TBT and grid exploitation within our Airflow image on Docker so that the transformation layer and the data quality checks also runs within the same container as Airflow. You can create it as separate container, but for convenience sake, you want to encapsulate everything inside the same image as Airflow. So setting up Airbyte, Airflow on Docker, and also incorporate TBT and grid exploitation on the Airflow image and spin it up on Docker and have it started. So I already have that set up, but for the case of this series, I'm just going to walk us through on how to do that. And that will be it. Check the description for in this video for a step-by-step guide on what we've done, right? Any additional information that is going to be needed is going to be included there. So thank you for joining today's session. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell in order to get notified for new videos on this series. Thank you very much for your time. See you next time.